We are going to cover the biggest challenges facing home buyers in Seattle right now. I'm Christian Harris, founder of the C-Town Real Estate Team. I started this channel to give you a flavor of what Seattle has to offer and to bring you some insights into Seattle real estate, so you can live your best life in Seattle. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. You can also give me a call or shoot me a text. I love helping people like you discover where they want to live in Seattle. At the end of this video, I'll give you a special cheat code to help buyers in any market condition, so make sure to stick around to the end. So let's get into this. People are afraid of the unknown, and when they're afraid, they tend not to take action. They get paralyzed with inaction and they wait. I hear this from my buyer clients a lot right now. I'm just gonna wait to see what the market does. I'm gonna wait for interest rates to go down. In my experience, when people are afraid, they wait and they don't act. And they end up missing out on key opportunities in life. Being a decisive action taker is really what separates the successful and wealthy from everyone else. As I surround myself with more people doing big things in life, I find that their mindset is way different. Those people performing at high levels are decisive and intentional action takers. And it sets them apart from everyone else who is waiting for life to happen to them or is looking around to see what everyone else is going to do before they take any action themselves. I find that most people react to life instead of making life happen for them. They're responding instead of taking action. Make life happen for you. Don't wait for life to happen to you. I say all this up front because I see a lot of people waiting for the perfect scenario before they take any action, and they're missing out big time. When my clients tell me they're waiting, I'll follow up with the question, what is important to you about waiting? And usually I'll uncover that they're afraid. They're afraid that if they buy now, the market's going to crash or interest rates will go down and they'll have paid too much, or they're stuck with a high monthly payment. Now, I've had buyer clients waiting for the market to cool down or crash since 2014, when the Seattle housing market really started to recover and getting crazy with median home value increases in the double digits year over year. And you know what happened? They waited, and now they're forever renters, or they had to move out of the area altogether because they didn't buy when they had the opportunity, when they can actually afford a house in Seattle. The $500,000 median Seattle home price back in 2014, 2015 is now worth $900,000 in 2022. That's a 55% home value increase in 8 years in Seattle. That is a lot of home equity that they missed out on. Now, unfortunately, I'm seeing the same desire for home buyers to wait because interest rates are higher than they've been for a long time. But the rates are only expected to go up from here. Just think about how good you'll feel when you buy a house now in this market, and in a few months, these crazy high interest rates that we see right now won't be available, and your friends will be kicking themselves for having not taken advantage of the opportunity to buy when the rates were so low. Now let's take a step back, shall we? This is the market. This market right now, where people are saying interest rates are too high, this is the market the home buyers have been waiting for years, for the last 6 years, the last 8 years. Do you know why? Because interest rates are the only real challenge. It's the only real downside to buying a house right now. Let's look at all the things that have improved since this market's been shifting from a seller's market to more balanced and now into a buyer's market. But real quick, if this video has been helpful to you so far, share it with a friend, click the like button, and leave a comment below. I'd really appreciate it. In the previous market that we were transitioning out of, there was so much competition because inventory was so low, money was so cheap to borrow, and there's so many more buyers than there were available houses. This is what buyers had to do in order to compete and buy a house. Escalation clauses were super common, meaning that if you wanted to buy a house, you had to pay tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking price. You had to waive inspections, you had to waive appraisals, meaning that if an appraisal came in low, you potentially had to pay tens of thousands of dollars more in order to still buy that house. The terms are always favorable for the seller. Large down payments were often necessary to put your offer at the top of the stack. And these multiple offer situations, we're not just talking 3 offers or 5 offers, sometimes you're talking dozens of offers. And you had to move fast. Often houses were pending within days, if not within hours of coming on the market. So compare that to where the market is now as things are cooling into a more balanced market and even into a buyer's market. Houses are staying on the market longer and often with price reductions. Buyers have more options with how many properties they can look at, and they can take their time in their search. Buyers can actually buy a house at asking price, and if you have a good agent, they can possibly negotiate a lower than asking price offer. Buyers have leverage. Buyers may even be able to negotiate for some of their closing costs to be paid for by the seller. Buyers can actually have an inspection done. They don't have to waive their inspection contingency, their financing contingency, their low appraisal contingency. They can actually have all of their protections in place when they write an offer. All of this means a way better buying experience for buyers right now. When things were super competitive, it was stressful, they had to move quickly. Often they got what they called buyer's fatigue, where essentially they got so tired of being outbid house after house after house that they eventually just gave up. They thought that home buying was not in the cards for them. But now all that has changed and buyers have options. So as you can see, there are tons of options and opportunities for buyers in this market right now, with one downside, the higher interest rates, which can change. But let me tell you a little secret. When the rates go down, you can always refinance to lower your monthly payments. And once you get 20% equity in your house, when you refinance, you can apply to have your PMI or your primary mortgage insurance removed, which will further lower your monthly payment. If when you bought the house, you put less than 20% down. So there's so many great options for home buyers right now. Give me a call with any additional questions you have. I'm here to help you find and buy your next house in Seattle. My contact info is in the description below.